Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 12th edition of the European Ideas Forum. It feels like we are back to a normal, as it used to be a nice tradition to meet towards the end of the calendar year, when we all take time for reflection and evaluation. Time when we take stock of how the last year has been for us. And that is, it has been an eventful year. This cannot be questioned. I don't like to sound pessimistic, but I will not exaggerate when I state that this is a very difficult and sad year, as we are facing the greatest challenge in our neighborhood since the fall of communism in the late of 1980s. Putin's aggression against Ukraine has caused terrible consequences to this country and to its citizens. Terrible humanitarian crisis. And in addition, of course, it has an immediate impact on the geopolitical order and future security. The increasingly complex geopolitical circumstances in which Europe finds itself require precise and sustainable responses that can effectively address current challenges and anticipate future threats, while preserving the bloc's inherent values and principles. Not only war, but also the pandemic, the climate crisis, the consequences of digitalization, the culture wars, the widening gap between the rich and the poor, social division and polarization. All of these are becoming great and greater challenges for democracy, which itself is in increasingly raising pressure. I am glad that the main ambition of this year, European Ideas Forum, is not only to discuss these biggest challenges, but also to find a way on how the EU could respond to crisis and build resilience in this fractured global environment. As Sandra has already indicated, during these 2 days, we will focus on high inflation and other economic challenges, on European Energy Union, on the future of European security and geopolitical changes, and our European response and the place in this process. In addition to these timely discussions with participation of prominent politicians from the EU and national levels, we will also bring you interviews with representatives of businesses, our sponsors. AT&T, Johnson & Johnson, Google and Microsoft, but also with Mr. Klaus Welle, who at the end of the year ends his remarkable mission as the Secretary General of the European Parliament. And we are very proud and very happy that he has decided to connect his new professional pilgrimage with us, the Martens Center and its academic council. Ladies and gentlemen, and now I have a privilege to introduce our first guest speaker, the lady we all know very well. She has been at the heart of the European project and has helped steer the EU through the many challenges it has faced in the last decade, as well as strengthening the EU on the global stage. She is a true and inspiring European, a staunch defender of our European values, and a committed advocate for civil liberties and the rule of law. Please welcome the great friend of the Martens Center, the President of the European Parliament, Mrs. Roberta Metsola. Madam President, dear Roberta, the floor is yours.